Okay, so here we are at the end of another week. It's been a massive week in tech. I thought this week I'd start off global and then narrow in on the Australian landscape because so much has happened. As always, I'm never going to be able to cover off on everything across the tech scene, just a few key data points through my lens. If you were hiding under a rock this week, it would have been impossible to miss the WWDC, Apple's developer conference, which took place throughout the week in the US. Two takeaways from me. First, Siri is going to allow developers to integrate via their API. And secondly, Swift app to help kids learn how to code. Microsoft acquire LinkedIn for over $26 billion, a massive acquisition, one of the biggest over recent times. With all acquisitions, integration post-acquisition is always a challenge, both for customers in terms of what future innovation will look like and for staff. Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, has strong plans moving forward to help growth of LinkedIn, but also integration to existing Microsoft assets. It's almost impossible to miss the $7 billion capital raise that Didi, the ride-hailing app, made today to compete against Uber globally. His entire raise to over $10 billion, and Uber globally has raised over $14 billion. That's $24 billion. Let's now get down to Australia. While we keep on the topic of ride-hailing apps, GoCatch got a new CEO this week. Backed by Westpac, Reinventure made a couple of investments this week, one specifically that I want to focus on, PromisePay. Car sales leading the round, they've brought in a chairman, Andrew Walsh, my ex-CEO of Hitwise, who will take the charge as chairman of PromisePay. Whether you guys saw, but last week Culture Amp announced after they had opened San Francisco, New York and London that they're going to be expanding their Melbourne office. This week, we saw Autopilot announce that they're going to be opening an office in the Sydney CBD, having been headquartered in San Francisco, where I believe their headquarters is staying. This is an interesting trend and one that's great for the Australian tech ecosystem. The question is, who will be next? Coming to the end of the weekly wrap-up, two things for next week worth mentioning. My business partner JJ jumped on a plane last night to head over to London. Next week is the biggest tech conference London's seen, called London Tech Week. He's going to be speaking alongside Didier from Culture Amp and CBA, amongst other companies, on a panel talking about the Australian tech ecosystem in London. London's having a massive week with London Tech Week back here in Melbourne. It's Startup Week, led by Startup Victoria, so get along and have some fun. That was a massive week, a massive weekly wrap-up. Have a great weekend. Let's hope the sun shines a little bit. See you later.